your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Welcome to a new week. I am so happy you're here. Today is Monday, July 10th, and I am officially living kid-free life. The best version of kid-free life, you guys. My kids are at camp. For those of you that have just tuned in for the first time, they're at sleepaway camp for the first time. Only about an hour away, but that doesn't mean anything because we're not going to visit them. We can't talk to them on the phone unless I guess we have to. But over the weekend, I got a letter from Dylan, my 10-year-old. That's the cutest letter. He's so happy. And then I saw all these pictures of them. Apparently, my younger son is in dance and sports. Love it. And my older son is in like the nature program and performing arts. It's so up my alley. So excited for them. So they're living their best life. And that means I can live my best life because as you know, if you're a parent, you're only as happy as your most unhappy kid, usually. That's how I feel, at least. So welcome to the show. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. What did I do this weekend? Oh, I went to this new restaurant here in Sherman Oaks. It's called Bacari. It's spelled like Bacari, which you would think is Bacari, but it's Bacari. And it's so fun and so beautiful. It's right down the street. Loved it. Then Saturday night, I went out with friends and we did sushi and drinks and all of that. So everything's very good on my end. And work is busy. Welcome to the show, by the way. For those of you that are new here, I have a few hundred new subscribers since the weekend. Thank you on YouTube. And then, of course, listeners in the podcast app, followers over on TikTok. Today, we're going to talk about a bunch of things. If you have not joined my Facebook group, that's where I go to with all my stuff first, okay? Facebook group is Daily Dose of Donna. Go on in there, follow along. It's a small enough group that you can really get to know people, and I love that about it. I don't want it to, I mean, I say this now, but once it gets to being hundreds of thousands of people in these Facebook groups, then it's too much. So it's nice that it's under 1,000 people, and it's really great. I love it over there. So make sure to join. And okay, let's get into it. So today I want to cover a couple things. I want to touch on the Kyle and Mauricio updates. I want to talk about Jonah Hill because that story I thought was super interesting and I deep dived all yesterday. And I think it's worth conversation around it. And then we can talk about Crappie Lake. Just finished watching those 2 episodes. And then we can talk about a couple other things. Okay. Let's just get Crappie Lake out of the way. Crappie Lake is the new Bravo show with Luann and Sonia from the Real Housewives of New York. It started last night and they aired 2 episodes. I don't know if they just started off with 2 episodes and then it will be 1 episode a week. That's my imagination, or that's what I imagine. They're 30-minute episodes, so they're really quick and they're very good background shows. Essentially shows that you could have in the background while you're doing some work, dishes, whatever. They're so funny. Luann and Sonia are so likable in the show. And this is the perfect thing that they need because it takes them out of this need to create and kind of manufacture drama. But they're basically 2 fish out of water, literally in Crappie Lake. They are, spoiled, rich New Yorkers. And now they all of a sudden are in this small 7,000 person town. Listen, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I don't consider myself high maintenance. Like I said, I just buy all my jewelry at World Market. So I am definitely not a high maintenance type of person, but there's a couple of things that I really, really take seriously. One of them being my hotel accommodations. I don't need to be in the plaza. I don't need to be in the most expensive hotel, but what I do need to feel is I am in a clean bed, that I am in a clean, that it's updated somehow. There's a blow dryer that you know what I mean? I don't know how people stay in these kinds of motels. I understand they're getting paid handsomely to do it. But people actually stay in these motels and it's shocking to me that it's very Schitt's Creek, right? It's exactly Schitt's Creek in real life. It's just so interesting. And I don't mean to dog on these motels because I've stayed in pretty low priced hotels that are not like those motels. I guess in small towns, they don't have big building hotels. They don't have your local, Marriott or whatever. Do you think Sonia's room? Oh, Sonia's room. Okay. Yes, the accommodations were unsatisfactory. Thank you so much because I was worried all of a sudden as I was saying this. I was like, people are going to think I'm so spoiled. But it really was. It hadn't been updated for 30 years, like wood paneling on the walls, just like very. Sonia walks in and she sees that there's like cinder block walls, and she's like, I think it was a jail. They're like, no, no, no. Luann and Sonia have each their own room, and it's very clear that they're very different in their ways of like organizing. Luann is very clean. She's organized. She's writing down a list. I need bins. She's already hung all her stuff up. She clearly has brought her own bedding in, which was so smart. So she remade an entire bed with her own bedding. And then she used the other bed as like a closet area because she said, I don't have enough. By the way, I'm wondering, how long are they there for? The amount of stuff that they brought to this hotel room, I'm like, wait, not only did they bring luggage, but they shipped boxes and boxes of things. Seriously, how long were they there for? 6 weeks, 5 weeks. Okay, so that's a long time, I guess. But like, I don't know. I was just away for 17 days and I got all my stuff in one suitcase. So, but they're on TV, so I'm sure they needed a lot of different things. Okay, Sonia's room was the opposite. So are you guys more like a Sonia person when you travel or a Luann person? Sonia's room was shit everywhere. It literally looked like someone went in there and just like pressed a bomb. She's so unfiltered, Sonia. It's too good. She talks about her dildos to the guy that works there. She farts on camera. She's like, who do I have to F to get a car that with air conditioning? I mean, she is so unfiltered. It's reality TV gold. It's so good. Okay, so definitely watch that show, you guys. Crappie Lake. Welcome to Crappie Lake. It's on Bravo. You can watch it probably on Peacock, etc. So good. You guys are like Sonia. That's so funny. Oh, and the best thing was she was like, this is how I like it. I like my stuff everywhere so I can see it. But then the first scene, she's like, I can't find anything. Oh my God, it would kill me. I am definitely more Luann. I like to keep things orderly, especially in hotel rooms because it's so small. I don't want to just see shoes everywhere, That was the hardest part about traveling with my kids. Yeah, she's super endearing. I agree. Also, the liposuction conversation. She had just gotten liposuction and then she goes onto the show. And I'm thinking to myself, I've always wanted liposuction on my arms. And now I'm like, should I? After Emily Simpson said that she did it from Real Housewives. And then now Sonia said, now I'm like, Luann, is it Sonia or Sonia? Now I can't remember. But it's like, I've always wanted this thing gone too. Okay. Whatever. She popped her stitches. Yes, that was so good. Okay. So Crappie Lake is good. Now, this is going to segue into another Bravo story. Let's talk a little bit about Kyle Mauricio. No huge updates, nothing crazy. I know that Friday night, Kyle Richards was spotted at dinner for Teddy Mellencamp's birthday at Craig's, which is a local place here in Los Angeles that I know they go to all the time. It's a very big paparazzi like hangout. Any celebrity that goes there will get photographed. Do I think... Wait, what's the non-surgical before lipo? Someone tell me. Do I think that, you go to a place like that to be photographed? I do know that Teddy loves that restaurant. Like I've seen her talk about the restaurant many times over the years. I also know that if you're trying to be quiet and kind of remain out of the public eye, you wouldn't go to a restaurant like that. I do think that there is definitely an element of Kyle Richards that knows that, press is press. It's good for the show. It's good for her. So I don't think she's scared of the cameras. I also think she's talking to the paparazzi. She's laughing in front of camera. She's not trying to hide herself in any capacity. So I'm so interested. Oh, cool sculpting. Okay. I'm so interested to know kind of what her thoughts are. She was photographed at a gas station by a TMZ paparazzi asking, is she single? She quickly, covered her arms with her sweater or her hands with her sweater. I kind of talked about this the other day. Oh yeah. And another picture went traveling around yesterday on page 6, New York Post, about with her and Morgan Wade walking down the street. It is not a new picture. That was both confirmed from her and Morgan. That picture was taken in April when she was here, when Morgan Wade was here for some sort of performance for Kyle. So, it's not necessarily that she's definitely not laying low, right? She's still posting on her stories. She's out and about. but she's not really, I think that the confusion for the audience is the lack of, like, there's no straightforward answer. And so whenever we don't have a straightforward answer, I think the audience is going to always just kind of keep digging, right? Like, we need to know more because we don't have any, actual evidence of anything. Teddy Mellencamp and Tamara Judge have their two T's in a podcast, which is very, very popular. I don't know if you guys listen. And Teddy had released a statement on the show on Friday saying, I will not be talking about this. She is my best friend. This is where my boundary lies. And I've talked to, my bosses here at iHeart and Tamara. And so I'm going to bow out of this conversation. That didn't mean that the show bowed out of the conversation. Remember that, because then Carlos King, who is also a podcaster, came on the show and proceeded to talk to Tamara about it for about 20 minutes. But Carlos did say something that I thought was interesting. He said Kyle is a fan favorite, which I'm curious, you guys. I'm curious. I really am interested to know from you guys, do you consider Kyle a fan favorite? Like, is she one of your faves? I liked Kyle a lot. And then in the last couple of seasons, she lost me. Like, last season was not a Kyle season for me at all. Because I love Sutton. And I thought they were horrible to Sutton. I thought she was horrible to Sutton. And I wasn't into it at all. I did not like Kyle last season. Remember when she was like pulling on Sutton and pushing her, and Sutton said that she like had a miscarriage, and Kyle was like, it's not about you. I mean, that was not. Yeah, a lot of people are saying on, oh, it's interesting. You guys are all like me. A lot of you guys on the TikTok live are saying she used to be your favorite, but not anymore. Yeah, I mean, something has changed definitely in the last couple of years. So I'm curious what this does for her. But what Carlos was saying was that she's a fan favorite, and what she needs to really do is be honest with her audience, because one thing that will turn an audience on a Real Housewife is the lack of honesty. If you're lying to your audience and your fans, they're going to turn on you. And so Carlos was like, this is a moment for Kyle to be honest and just say exactly what is going on. I have my thoughts, feelings, and opinions from things I know personally. I'm not going to share them here like in full entirety, because I don't want to speculate like that and create anything for anyone unless it's like proof or it's out there. That's all I do. But I definitely have thoughts. I have strong thoughts about what I think is going on and what I'm pretty sure is going on. I also talked about this on my Facebook group the other day, that I will definitely officially be starting a very low cost Patreon to do an additional episode once a week, plus some Zooms where you get to kind of chat with me and Lance and everything. Hey, Molly dear. And I would be sharing it there. So just keep it in mind. You'll be hearing more about that later this week. Yay. Thanks, Molly. Okay. And it will be very low cost, because I understand. Listen, the Patreon conversation is tough because we don't want to subscribe to every single person that we like, because that's a lot of money. And I agree. I don't subscribe to every single person I like. But what I always do is I subscribe at first and I check it out. And if it's something that I find myself going back and wanting to hear, I will stick around. But if it's something that I find myself like not listening to every episode or passing on, then I stop. And that's all you have to do. There's no commitment. It's a month-to-month situation. I think it's a great option to support your favorite creators and also get some more dish, like some more uncensored stuff, Okay. What are we saying here regarding his sexual? Oh, okay. Yeah. There's rumors about Mauricio. There's rumors about that. That's what I said I don't want to do, because especially when it comes to conversations about sexuality, I feel like it's so personal and so private. And I want to make sure, oh no, Chris, there's always going to be Daily Dose. Don't you worry. I'm always here. I'm just upgrading it for those who want the upgrade. Okay. I definitely don't want to, speculate on stuff like that. Now, the People article was written by my friend Dave Quinn. I told you guys this. Dave Quinn and I have known each other now for a few years. We met on an app called Clubhouse. We have a mutual friend. I adore him. And he said he's going to do Daily Dose. He's going to do an episode of Daily Dose. So I'm going to get him on the show hopefully later this week. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that People article. And we're going to talk about, just him writing the Housewives book and his conversations with housewives. I can't wait for that. Okay. So, Darlene, they're both And then she wrote pineapples. And those of you that know pineapples and know pineapples, which actually will bring me into the Jonah Hill story. But before I get into that, I want to tell you one thing about Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen this morning, thanks, Molly. Yes, both podcasts. And then I will be adding a Patreon. You will still get me for free. I'm still free, baby. I'm a very cheap date. Ask Molly Dare. She and I go on dates all the time. Next thing you know, Molly, we're going to have a rumor like you and I are Morgan, Wade, and Kyle. Okay, so what was I saying? Andy Cohen was on his show this morning, and he does his live with Andy Cohen. And I'm like Andy Cohen'd out because I finished Daddy Diaries, his book. I finished the audiobook over the weekend. So I like know everything about Andy Cohen. His voice is in my head constantly. And then, of course, he was asked by a phone call, which is so interesting because I'm pretty sure when I listen to Jeff Lewis on Sirius, he gets live callers and he selects which call he wants to take. Right? Like he'll select the call and be like, okay, let's hear from Jill in, Santa Barbara, because he sees what the question is. And Andy brought on someone to ask a question saying, are you picking the cameras back up? But it sounded like he had no idea the question was coming. And the question basically said is, now that you know everything, what's going on with Kyle and Mauricio, are you picking cameras back up for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? His answer was so insane, you guys. It was like, well, and I can't continue to do it because you guys are going to think that this podcast is skipping, but it's literally for 10 seconds straight. It's like the worst radio ever. And John Hill, his co-host, was like, Andy, are you okay? It's a simple yes or no answer. Andy didn't say yes or no. What he did say was, you will be seeing this part of this play out on Real Houses of Beverly Hills this upcoming season. So they got us. They got us by a chain. We are in. We're all going to be watching the next season of Beverly Hills, which is actually amazing for the show because there was nothing else about Real Houses of Beverly Hills that I had an interest in. Like, this is the reason I'm going to be watching next season for sure. Other than this, I may not. Now, another comment says, it damn sure better after Scandival. Yes, well, they picked up the cameras right away on Scandival, but he didn't confirm if they're picking up the cameras for Beverly Hills. Speaking of Scandival, they are literally, on Twitter, they're saying they picked up cameras, but why wouldn't Andy say that? Why wouldn't he just admit it? It's so weird. Like that, it was the strangest answer. It's like it doesn't give anything away if you say, yeah, we're going to be filming this. I don't know. Scandival. Tom Sandoval had a birthday over the weekend. He had it at his house. I got some insider information, but we also know that Billie Lee was there because Billie Lee from Vanderpump Rules was posting all over her story. So she was there. Tom Schwartz got him a cake that said happy 40th birthday again. So they're friends still. And Billie Lee was there, and that's kind of all I saw. Tom Schwartz Sandoval still has white nails, but now he has some sort of designs on them. So now he's getting a little bit white and it's too much for me. He looks good, Tom Sandoval, actually. So part of me wants to say that I think he's still sober. I don't know for sure, but he definitely looks better. He looks healthier. I don't know if you guys have felt that. He was at Tom Tom with Tom Schwartz on Saturday night filming. And I was almost going to go, you guys. I was talking to my girlfriends. We went out on Saturday night and I was like, let's go to Tom Tom. And then we backed out last minute. So that would have been so fun. Here's the problem. Number one, you're going to Tom Tom where you know your fans are, right? Your fans are at Tom Tom. You're filming an episode of Vanderpump Rules, and all you see in the background is all the fans like watching, taking pictures, watching. And then at one point, I guess one of the girls that was there was screaming at Sandoval, like, chill out, guys. We don't have to be a fan of his, but like, let's not yell at him in public. Like, this is too much, right? He's offering us incredible entertainment. And he never hurt us personally, right? I'm very interested to see how that goes. I also want to stop watching all the behind the scenes of them filming. So like at some point, this Vanderpump Rules behind the scenes thing has got to stop. We can't see it all the time, right? We can't just like pull away or they need to start filming in more discreet places so we don't see it all. Okay. Jonah Hill. I need to know what you guys think about Jonah Hill. I'm not going to give you every single detail because it's all out there, but essentially the Cliff's Notes version was Jonah Hill in 2021 was dating a girl, another surfing, or she was a surfer model girl. Her name is Sarah Brady. They live down they surf in like the Southern California, San Clemente area, and they start dating. She has these gorgeous like modeling pics on her profile, bikini pics. She's surfing. She has no issue with that. And in fact, that's kind of how they started reconnecting, was that he was messaging her basically like hearts and stuff after seeing these photos. Anyway, they start dating. Apparently it was all good for a while, and then things started to get a little bit south. Jonah Hill had sent Sarah Brady private text messages, as you do in a relationship, a private relationship. Texting is usually a one-on-one thing. Usually you don't send text messages knowing or thinking that the world will see them. That being said, my husband said, why didn't he ever get an NDA? When you're someone like a Jonah Hill or a celebrity and you date someone, you should get NDAs right off the bat. And I was thinking to myself, that's so weird. Like, can you imagine you just meet some cool chick or some cool guy and you start hooking up and then you're like, oh, I need an NDA. But he's like, he should have known that, like, when you put stuff out there. I don't know. I just find that so odd. And she was probably so mellow and so down to earth, and they probably just like really liked each other. So he didn't think that she was going to release these texts. Anyway, the point is, who knows what exactly transpired, but it got to the place where Jonah Hill was very, very open and clear on text messaging, saying, I have boundaries in my setup of how I want this relationship, essentially saying, and you have to understand, we're not seeing the full thread of text. We're just seeing screenshots. So we don't know everything, but we saw him saying things along the lines of, I don't want you in bikini pictures on your feed. I don't want you surfing with other men. I don't want you this and this and this and that, with all these like expectations. Upon initially seeing this text, my first thought was, this is disgusting and he's a jerk. Because that's what you think when you see a text message like this. And then you do some deep diving. You guys, this is controversial, and I know a lot of you guys won't like this answer, but I pray that you are open enough to consider that it's not just one way. I believe that Jonah Hill possibly has had I believe that no matter what the case is in a relationship, Jonah Hill was showing his true colors in these text messages, right? He was showing his true colors. He was saying, I don't want this, 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 and this. Do I think it was controlling? Yes. Do I think it was narcissistic? Yes. Do I think it was jerky? Yes. Do I think it was okay? Yes. And here's why. Here's why. Because he was giving her the power in those text messages to say, I'm sorry if this isn't for you, and you can leave. But this is what I need. Do I think he needs things that like healthy men need? No. Like if my husband sent me that text, I would not in any way think that was cool or okay. But they were dating. They weren't married with kids. And he wasn't holding her hostage. He was saying something along the lines of, I am this way. If that doesn't work for you, then this won't work. Do I think he was right? No. Do I think he had a right to say that? Yeah. She chose to stay. Yes, it's gaslighting what he did. Yes, it's manipulative what he did. Yes, he's being a freaking jerk. Yes. But I don't think her staying with him and then airing it out years later, right after he gets engaged to someone else and has a baby with someone else. Remember that. He just had a new baby with another girl, and this is 2 years later. Why is she now releasing it again? I say again for a reason. In 2021 and 2022, she's done this before. She didn't have a large Instagram following, but she started to release all these things. This is not the first time that this girl has started to put this stuff out there. He is not still her boyfriend. He is not trying to get back with her. He's not trying to be in her life. She just chose out of nowhere to start posting this because he is triggering her, because he's moved on. That's in my opinion. Do I think he did the right thing in those text messages or like was a good guy? No. But if my husband said to me, Donna, like if Lance and I just started dating and Lance said, I need a woman who doesn't work, cleans the house every day, cooks dinner every single day, doesn't post on social media, reads, Christian books and massages my feet and has sex with me every night. This is what I need. And if that doesn't work for you, you can leave. I would say, F you, I'm out. That's what I would do. I would say, F you, you're psycho. You're trying to like hold a woman down and not allow her to be herself. I love you. This is such a bummer, but it's not going to work. John says, at what point in their relationship were these texts sent? That's a really good question. We don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know if she was posting a ton of pictures of herself. We don't know if she was playing games with him. Was Jonah Hill crazy controlling and jealous? Yes, it seems like he was. But I don't know. I just don't understand why the need to post these public texts 2 years later makes sense. Jonah Hill is sus. Yes, he's a little sus, but like consider the source. Consider the source. I don't know. Okay, you guys see, a lot of you guys don't agree with me and a lot of you guys do. I knew it was going to be an unpopular opinion, but what is the better answer? What is the better answer? To say, I think he's a disgusting, horrible man and he should be canceled? Is that the better answer? I'm serious, you guys. Tell me, what do you think is the right move here? Because I never said he was a healthy, good guy. I never said that he is, in the right or like is doing the right thing as a boyfriend. I never said that that he should be given like a pat on the back. I just don't think he should be deserving of like massive hate for just being honest about his craziness. What about the power dynamics? Tell me. Someone is saying no one is condoning his actions, but her actions are deplorable as well. Everyone's condoning his actions, and a lot of people are saying she should have shared this. She's helping other women by sharing this. He has more popularity. Sure. But she chose to be in a relationship with someone like that. But he's not going out there and sharing the text. He has more influence and he has more personality, but he's just living his life now. You guys, it's not a right or wrong. It's just a moment for us to stop and think, let's think, is there more to this story? I'm telling you, House and Habit changed my opinion on this story yesterday. House and Habit is an Instagram account that did a deep dive on it. She's from San Clemente. She's in that surf world. She knows a lot. And it's important in life. I've noticed it's important in life to just be open to the possibility that not everything you see is exactly what you believe, like exactly what is the truth. Right? Okay, let me see this. I'm gonna read some of this. Hold on. Love Jessica. Is Jessica House and Habit? Is that her name? Yes, I think. I love her. The answer is never put anything in writing you don't want blasted on social media. Yes and no. Geez, like you're sending a text to your girlfriend. It's tricky. It was brave of her to do what she did. Okay, let me ask you something. It was brave of her to do what she did, and let's not pretend his new woman hadn't seen these. Okay, why was it brave of her to do what she did? Seriously, why? I'm curious. Remember, she's been doing this since 2021. I'm curious, seriously, what do you guys think? Why is it brave of her to air their public laundry, their dirty laundry, or their private laundry, I should say, for the last 2 years? Why? Because I hate to say it, like, he didn't beat her. He didn't abuse her. He didn't hold money over her head. He didn't threaten her. He didn't say, like, I'm going to, post pictures of you on my account with 5 million followers saying that you're a dirty WHORE. He didn't do any of that. He just said, this is who I am. And if you can't do it, bye. It's like when you date a guy and they say, oh, I have a fetish. I want to tie you up and pee on you. I would say bye. Do I know that he didn't threaten her? Well, I think she's pretty honest. I think she's pretty open on her Instagram stories. So I imagine this girl, Sarah, if he did, she would tell us, right? Like I'm imagining she's telling us everything bad he's done. So you're right. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe that she would air this and not say, oh, he also threatened me that he was going to ruin my life, Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is an interesting conversation, you guys. Power and money. He can make her life hell. That's where you're wrong. But just 1 second, you guys. Did he? Did he ever? Did he ever publicly throw her under the bus? He's the one with the audience. No, but she did. For what reason? 2 years later. For what reason? Just makes you think. Okay. Don't you think with his money and connections, it was brave? Allison says, I see nothing wrong with what he did. If he threatened her, we would know about it. Pop culture potluck. Ray, she says, it also takes time to heal after being in an abusive relationship so she could feel safe sharing now. Ray, she's been doing this since 2021. Go to House and Habit stories. She's been sharing publicly on her stories crazy things about Jonah Hill for 2 years. This is the first time that it got picked up in the press. Just remember that. Anyway. So I hope I didn't lose a ton of you guys through this. I hope you guys still know who I am and understand that I'm just bringing up conversation. I think that it's an important conversation piece. I don't personally want anyone to think that I'm vilifying her by any means. And I'm saying that Jonah Hill was a guy. If someone texted me that, I would literally be like vomiting. That's so gross, so horrible. And I would be devastated because if I loved him, it would be really hard. But it would be a huge red flag and would probably mean this is not the guy for me because he doesn't want me to be who I am. He's trying to change who I am. And that's ultimately what it is that he was trying to change who she was, which is wrong and not okay. But she also stayed in that relationship. It's coming off like I'm a Jonah girl. No, I don't like Jonah Hill really, actually. I don't care for Jonah Hill. I actually really don't. There's nothing Jonah Hill's done to make me love him in any way. In fact, this text makes me think he's probably pretty shady. However, I just like to look at things from a more like zoomed out perspective, right? And this is one of those things that I don't know if people's minds can be changed. But House and Habit yesterday, I went on her stories not knowing either way what I thought. Or actually, I told you at the beginning, I thought Jonah was disgusting and a jerk. Like that was my opinion. My first thought was like, oh my God, this poor girl. And then when I started doing the deep dive. So I'm just going to ask you guys to just give it some thought. And if we're wrong, She stated that's victim blame. Girly, the devil doesn't need an advocate here. Becca, you clearly think I'm just a horrible person. I get it. But she was not living with him. He was not her husband. He didn't own her. She ended up breaking up with him. They broke up. She even said to him, it sounds to me like you want to dump me. Okay. Anyway, yes, I don't give a crap about JH, but I want nothing to do with someone who hangs on to old texts and malicious intent. Yes, I am with you. He's married. He's engaged at least. He has a new baby. Like it feels like digging up old dirt just because spotlight. And she's gained over 10,000 followers. on Instagram since this has come out. So I don't know. Thanks, guys. You guys are the best. All right. Well, I am willing to have this conversation. If you guys want in the comments, leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys love me. Love me. I hope you guys love me. I hope you guys love the show still and continue to listen, even though you don't agree with everything, because I think that that's important to not agree with everything and still listen. And that's okay if you guys don't agree with me on this one. But the conversation is still happening. And I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.